Hello everybody, welcome back to the Gearhead 426 channel. We have the 350Z. It is finally painted. It is running and driving and legal, and I absolutely love it, but there's a few problems. So we're gonna go ahead and fix those problems. One of the problems is the cooling fans have died. That's what's in that giant box right there, is to install new cooling fans. I also need to go ahead and charge the AC system. I had to replace the dryer in this thing, and I believe that the expansion valve has also gone bad, but there's just a little bit of a problem. I've left it at home, and home's 2 hours away from here. As you can tell, I am not in my usual spot. That is because I have moved to an apartment complex. That's why I haven't been putting up any videos lately. And kind of hard to work at an apartment complex that you just moved to. Don't want them to hate you right away. But hopefully the expansion valve is fine. We'll find out because we have all of our stuff to go ahead and do it. Plus, I mean, those cans, this car only takes one of them, and they only cost me like $6 a piece. So if it doesn't work out, it's okay, it's fine. I also need to go ahead and replace the window motor regulator thing right here. This was the original one off of the original car, the black one. This was the multicolored car, and that's the one that I have in here. And the driver side makes a funny noise. It sounds like it's grinding or scraping on something. So we're just gonna go ahead and replace that. Also gonna be replacing the fuel pump. I'm actually gonna go ahead and leave the fuel pump that's in this car in it. I'm gonna go ahead and swap it out with this one in here, because I think the one in there is different. I don't know, but I know this one's completely stock. As you can already see, I have my fuel return inlet installed on it right here. You know, sealed it up, made sure it's real good. Don't want any leaks. The one in there does leak. The reason why I'm replacing this as well is because that one, the check valve has gone bad and it's causing long starts, which I don't like long starts. That's not a good thing. Also going to be doing an oil change. Car hasn't had fresh oil in it since I wrecked it like 2 years ago. And this is just more for like peace of mind and whatnot, but I have all of this heat shielding for all of my AN fuel lines, which I'll go ahead and show you right here. You can see all of my AN lines for my fuel return system. These ones are fine, they don't need any heat shielding. The ones back here are fine too. You can barely see them in there, but the line way down here, it goes all the way down. This is the feed line. It goes all the way down right next to the exhaust manifold. In fact, you could actually see it down there. You can see the exhaust manifold with all the heat wrap on it and the fuel line right there. There's about an 1.5 inch plus gap between them. I just want to go ahead and be safe and put that on there. Plus it will help the fuel line last longer, and it will ensure that the fuel doesn't get hot. Honestly, it's overkill. It's not really needed, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it anyways because it'll be very simple and very easy to do. It's literally just, you know, cut one zip tie, loosen up 2 AN lines, slide it on there, cut it to fit, put it on, zip tie everything back up, tighten it up, done. Really super simple, easy, straightforward. I understand that this is horrible. That's a good way to describe it. Just bear with me for right now. The intake that I do have for it is from Z1 Motorsports. I have their Z1 Motorsports racing intake, which is a intake that goes, you know, all the way down here and goes through there and then into the bumper right here. But here's the issue: racing intake. It requires a tune because the MAF housing on that intake is larger than this one. The reason why I went with the racing intake is because if you looked at the piping, whenever it came up, it was like a solid 3 inches the whole way until it got to the MAF section, and then it shrunk just a little bit, and then it went back to 3 inches, kind of like how it does right here. If you look, like, it goes from here, shrinks, you know, stays shrunk, and then it gets large again. And that's a restriction, and I don't want that restriction there. Even if it might only mean 1 or 2 more horsepower, maybe not even, maybe even half of a horsepower, I still don't want that restriction, but it requires me to get a tune. So we're waiting on that for now. Plus the difference in price between the racing intake and the non-racing intake was no difference. They were the exact same price, so I was like, screw it, get the racing one. The car is getting a tune anyways. I'll just install it right before it goes on to the dyno whenever we get it tuned down in Tampa, Florida over at Z Fever. That's everything that we need to go ahead and do. May as well just go ahead and jack it on up, put it on jack stands, and start draining the oil. Man, I'm all jumbled up. I haven't done a YouTube video in like a month, but I'm excited. It's good. Car will get fixed. Yes. Hopefully this tiny little like 1.5 ton jack will do just fine, hopefully. I am putting the car on jack stand, so this just has to get it up. And once it's up, it's no longer a problem. Talk about sketchy. Definitely not a fan of this. I really don't like this jack. God, I hate this jack. And now begins the hunt for a 10mm. Well, that wasn't too bad. Look at how easy that was. And now I can change my oil. And it's filthy, but that's okay. This thing has always leaked some amount of oil. One other thing that I also got, if I could find it, is this little guy, which is a Z1 Motorsports. Obviously, there's a lot of Z1 Motorsports stuff on this car, but a Z1 Motorsports oil plug, the neodymium magnet on the end of it, because you want to catch all that bad stuff that's in there. You don't want it to get out. Boy, does that oil look dark. Now I guess I could go ahead and start pulling all this apart. Need my tiny screwdriver. This will work. Yes, I know there were clips missing. I have a whole bunch of clips to fix that. See, the last thing we will do is actually fill the car up with oil, because that makes sense. Try not to mess up my new paint. There we go. Just give it a little bit of a bump. Put that there. I know I'm supposed to have like one of those plastic things that get all these trim pieces out, but I don't, so this will do just fine. Now this piece should just come out. Yeah, let's take that piece off. It should. There it goes. Sometimes these are a little bit of a pain in the butt to get out, but that one wasn't too bad. I need to detail my car really bad. I want to go ahead and check something super quick, so I need to go grab my keys. This is what I'm talking about. This is interesting because it was making a scraping noise and now it's not. I discovered the problem with that actually wasn't the regulator. The regulator is perfectly fine. This was scraping on one of the arms of the regulator because it was too long. So that just took me a second to figure out. But hey, that's good. That means I get to leave that one alone because it's perfectly fine and there's nothing wrong with it. So yay. Now I just got to put all this back together. Not gonna lie, I honestly kind of feel like an idiot. But hey, you know, you live, you learn. It's okay. You know, sometimes that's just what it is, like building a freaking car like the way that I did is, you know, some stuff just ain't gonna work perfectly and you just gotta work through some issues and whatnot. So that's what I'm doing. I'm working through the issues. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. That's just how it is. Now that I got a shorter bolt in there that should work, go ahead and put this guy in right here. Screw them both down tight, test it, and make sure it's all running good. Please work. Hey, no more grinding. Now we can go ahead and put the wiper blades back on along with the rest of the cowl, finish it all off, and then we'll move on to the next thing, and then the next thing, and the next thing, and yeah, so on and so forth. Well, the oil is draining, which is good. These are always kind of just a little bit of a pain in the butt to get on. There we go. And these kind of like clip together a little bit. Right here-ish. There we go. And now clips. Tons and tons and tons of clips. Whole bunch of clips. Because we don't like when things move. Let's go ahead and put in these covers, and then we'll tighten everything down, put in all the trimming, and then hey, that's the first thing that is done on this car that we need to do. Okay, it's worth getting one of these bags of clips. This one is a mix of a whole bunch of clips for like all of my cars, but these are actually OEM Nissan clips for what I got for this car, because I like to keep everything as OEM as possible. Not in the sense of, you know, like, ooh, keep it stock. No. More in the sense of like, hey, this is what was designed to be on here and it works the best. I'm not gonna go with a clip that's like, hey, this clip will work. I'm gonna go with a clip that's like, hey, I'm meant to be on this car because that clip works better. That piece is in and good, and now we need to do this one here. That's good enough. That's perfect. Yeah. This one goes here, and this one goes here. Let's close the hood, or just set it down, and make sure nothing hits anything. Heck yeah. Works perfect. Now that the windshield wipers are fixed, we can go ahead and move on to the next part, which is the cooling fans. Hopefully these cooling fans will go nice and smooth. That's what I'm hoping for. I need to go ahead and unplug 2 plugs down there, get that out of the way. All right, and it's 2 10mm here, and then it should just go that way and straight up. I can't really reach. Yeah, I can. I can kind of reach down there to go ahead and unplug those, so I'm going to try to unplug those now. Everything's just really tight in this car. Welcome to 350Zs. All right, that's one. Got it. All right, that's finally unplugged. Now hopefully I could just undo these 2 10mm and wiggle this thing on out of here. And it's looking like I'm gonna have to pull that coolant hose, which is what I didn't want to have to do. Hopefully I can do this without getting coolant everywhere. Please not a lot of coolant, please not a lot of coolant. No. Okay. Oh, sweet, it's all going, Jeff, fuck me. Cool, most of it's going right into the oil pan. That's what we wanted. Get this freaking fan out of here now. All right. Old crappy fan out. Now, let's get the new fan out. Hooray, new fan. Looks just like the old one, which is kind of the point. Coolant hose back off. Didn't want to have to take off in the first place, but that's okay. There's only one other person out there that knows exactly how bad these pliers are. We call them the knuckle busters here. And I know that guy's gonna be watching my videos, so hey man, check out these hunks of shit. Fucking hate those things. They've killed my freaking knuckles multiple times, and they've killed his multiple times. They're just really, really bad at being pliers. Now, attach this guy. Just push that on. I'm gonna have to burp it and whatnot and bleed it. Okay, so we got my big boy scanner right here. Gonna go ahead and plug it in and test the fans and make sure that they are working appropriately like they should. Thankfully this is Bluetooth, so this is like super freaking easy. Okay, so all the audio was kind of messed up to the point to where it was like really bad. Like an audio of footage was completely unusable. So I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you what happened. I went ahead and tested the fans. They worked great with my scanner. By the way, you guys should definitely try to get yourself a bi-directional scanner. It is worth it. The one that I used that you see in here, it's an Autel something. They're like 1,200 bucks. I don't expect you guys to spend that much money on it, but definitely try to get yourself a bi-directional scanner with OE capabilities. You can pick them up for about $200. It is well worth it. It has saved my butt so many times with helping me diagnose things that are going on with the vehicle. Other than that though, I went ahead and I replaced the fuel pump assembly. I kept the fuel pump, but I replaced the fuel hat. When doing so, I actually discovered why I had an aftermarket fuel system on the car when I originally bought it. And it's because I don't have a factory fuel pump in there. I have a 255 liter per hour fuel pump from like Below or something. I don't know how to pronounce the name, I'm an idiot. But that's why I have an aftermarket fuel system on the car, and why I've also made that fuel system better. But that pump is capable of handling about 500 to 600 horsepower pretty safely-ish. Some people say less, some people say more, but that's pretty awesome because if we ever go to do boost one day, realistically, I just need to change out fuel injectors and we're all set to go. I also went and vacuumed out my entire AC system and recharged it. It is now working absolutely wonderful, which is great. You know, I like having air conditioning, especially since I live in Florida. Thankfully, the outro that I already went and recorded, the audio was working fine for it, so we're just gonna go ahead and jump into that. Also, if you can't tell either, I'm in a car. This is where I was editing everything, and me and the lovely are currently going up to Tennessee right now, so probably gonna see another video of me in this car. Okay guys, so we kind of like, you know, got a little annoyed whenever I was doing the fuel lines, but fuel lines are done, fuel pump's done, everything is done. It is running freaking awesome. Absolutely no issues, oil change is all good, all that kind of stuff and whatnot. Absolutely no leaks in any of the fuel system, finally, which is wonderful. In fact, I was actually very happy to find out that I do not have a standard OEM pump. I have an aftermarket pump in it, which is super cool. And my AC is working flawlessly now, so that is even better. It didn't need the expansion valve like I thought it did. So that's super, super cool. I got a huge mess that I gotta clean up, and I ain't got too long to do it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. Definitely go ahead and tune in for the next video. I'm not quite sure what I'm dropping on the next video. It's rather gonna be me messing around on a four-wheeler if the four-wheeler video doesn't come out before this one, or it's gonna be me taking this thing out on like a 40-minute drive all the way out to this really cool spot that I like to go to, which, you know, I'll just go ahead, mount the camera up, take the drive, and just upload the thing in its entirety. So guys, that is going to be it for today's video. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe. We just hit 100 subscribers, which I am super proud of. At least at the recording of this video, we are currently at 101 subscribers, which is freaking awesome. It only took me 3 years to get there, and uploading extremely inconsistently. Anyways guys, I hope everybody has a great day, and I will see you guys in the next one.